Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Craft of Exile video. In this one, I'm going to show you how to make plus level of gems bow that is normally used in my Death's Oath build guide, for example. It's used for Caustic Arrow and plenty of other damage over time oriented builds with scaling level of gems on your bows. So, first thing you want to do is get yourself a 6-linked bow, which is rather cheap. I'm looking at the Marketh one with the increased movement speed. It's pretty juicy. You can get some other implicit values from synthesized bases and whatnot, but we're going to look into the crafting of the actual bow. Which base you choose doesn't really matter. However, depending on the mods you're going for, you do want to keep an eye out on the item level. Best way to check this is, of course, in Craft of Exile. You search for a bow. I've taken a Marketh bow in this case. And for this example, I'm going to show you how to craft the damage over time oriented bow. So if we do over time search, you can see that we have a generic damage over time right here that goes up to 35%. And that is a suffix modifier. Now there's a few ways to craft this. This does not include any harvest crafting. And looking at this, I need an item level of 82 or higher. So if I were to search for an 82 or higher item level bow that is not corrupted with 6 links, it's going to cost me a whooping amount of, I think that's a price fixer, so I'd say about 100 chaos, just under an X. So it's not that expensive to get this sorted as a base. So let's move on to the crafting process of this. So first off, you want to use alterations. In this case, we do this, and then we spam alterations and augment basically all the way till you have the mod you want. Now, if you want to go into a low budget state, I'm going to start with a low budget approach to this, which means that we're only looking for level of bow gem, level of socketed gems as a prefix, and the high tier of damage over time suffix. So because of this, I'm just going to pretend that we have, actually we'll do alterations. That's a suffix, damage with poisons, not what we're looking for, suffix. Okay, so here's a prefix. Let's pretend that we got something like this, but the suffix modifier is what we wanted, and that would be a high tier of this one. And you can very easily check this in Craft of Exile by choosing that modifier. Telling you to craft with alterations, alt augment is going to tell you that you need to spend about 100 chaos worth of alterations to hit this modifier, but this can include a prefix modifier. So for low budget versions, this doesn't really matter. The next process, what you're going to do once you've hit this tier 1 damage over time suffix modifier, is to Regal Orbit. Now the Regal Orb turns this item into rare and adds either a prefix or a suffix modifier. Obviously, I'll be making a written version of this in the coming days. That will be linked in the descriptions as well. So once you Regal it, you can see here now we hit the good version, which is a suffix modifier. And what you're going to do at this point is to benchcraft a suffix modifier that is called cannot roll attack modifiers. Now to show you the cost of this, I'm going to go to in-game and I'm going to do cannot roll attack modifiers. This costs 1 exalted orb to put on the item. That is a suffix modifier. Now to verify what this is doing is that since we don't have any suffix modifier, it can only roll an attack modifier from now on. And if I then go into the Craft of Exile page and I look for attack tags, you can see that there's plenty of suffixes, but since, again, the item has 3 suffix modifiers, we are not able to roll any of these, and it is preventing this. The only thing left to roll on this item is a socketed gems level. By exalted orbing this piece, I am now guaranteed to get plus level of gems in the bow, or socketed gems, like this. So the problem would be when the Regal Orb hits a prefix, like this case here. Now, we're looking for low budget. In a low budget, you want to spend as little as possible to get this craft done. Now, if I were to put the cannot roll attack mod on this and then exalt slam, there is a risk that I get a suffix modifier and then I'd be forced to put another exalted to it. So there is a cheaper way to sort your situation if this occurs. Now, this is done through bestiary crafts or bestiary crafts, and I believe it's a ferric. Yes, it's a ferric lynx alpha beast. You can search for these on the trade and purchase them, and then 3 rare beasts. And this removes a random prefix but adds a suffix modifier. To show you this on the trade real quick, to show you how much these are going for, you simply just search for ferric lynx alpha, and they should be like 10 to 15 tops, even less. Well, 10 to 15 chaos. And some yellow beasts that you'll find as you're playing the game. So if this happens, you'll then go to beast crafting. You go to remove a prefix, add a new suffix. Done. Well, now we got attack speed, which can be pretty nice in some cases. Not really big of a deal. And in this case, I will now be able to again put the benchcraft, cannot roll attack modifier, and then use an Exalted Orb, and I'm guaranteed to get the level of Socket of Gems. So to do that process one more time, we have two prefixes with the suffix that we alteration crafted. We're using the bestiary craft to remove a prefix, to add a suffix, to make sure that we can block off all the suffix modifiers, like this. Now we have two suffix modifier, which we only care about one. We put the benchcraft, we cannot roll attack mods. Now the item cannot roll any suffixes, and the only outcome of an Exalted Orb will be the level of Socket of Gems, like this. Now this is the low body version. For the higher body version, the process is pretty much the same. There's a couple different ways to go about it, but I will show you the entire process from start to finish. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and then we're going to go to mod pool suffixes tier 1. Actually, whoops. Remove that one and put that one in. So let's say that you now have prepared the base to have the tier 1 damage over time modifier. It's now sorted. However, the item has a prefix. For the high body version, you can have a second suffix on it, but that's about it. So there's a couple different ways to do it. The high body version of this, in some cases, want to use that last suffix, but in most cases, you don't care about it. So when you do this, what you do is that you're going to Regal Orb this once. And in this case, we got a prefix. Now, if you have a prefix like this, it is perfectly fine. You have two options. One is to just purge off the prefixes. The way to purge it is to benchcraft a craft that says prefix, prefix pool. Here. Suffixes cannot be changed. This is a 2 exalted craft. And if you put suffixes cannot be changed and then scour it, the 2 prefixes will go away and you only have a rare bow with the suffix modifier that we care about. However, there's another option. Obviously, you can annul orbit, and if it removes one of the prefixes, you're pretty much done. Because what we can do is utilize the Beastcraft again to move one of the prefixes into a suffix, and since we can have a secondary suffix modifier, that is perfectly fine to do. The other process of doing this is obviously to do the prefix modifier change like this, and now we got life gain and kill, which is kind of terrible, and then do the suffixes can't be changed, and then scour it. What then happens is that it removes the prefix modifier and we're left with this modifier. So it depends on how you want to do it. If you go back to the state of it having 2 prefix modifiers and you do the suffix can't be changed directly and then do a scour, then you have a blue version of it. And this is not what we want to do. We want to make sure that it is rare. It is very, very crucial. My usual process, since we don't really care if there's a second modifier on it or not, you can safeguard it with this process by multi-crafting, but that's going to cost you like 4 to 6 exalteds to sort. So we're going to show you the generic way of making a high body bow. And that is basically do the bestiary craft first, if I can find it. Remove a prefix, add a new suffix. Now we have 2 suffixes. This is actually a really nice one. Then we do the suffix can't be changed prefix metacraft. That's a 2 exalted investment. We scour it. Now we have 2 suffixes, which guarantees that the bow is rare because blue item cannot have 2 suffix modifiers. Now we're going to do a multi-craft. And that is basically a 2 exalted investment, allowing us to have 2 more additional crafted modifiers onto it because this one counts as one of them. And now we're going to put in the crafts that we want. So in this case, we're going for a bench prefix, and it is support gems. Level of support gems tier 1, which is +2 level of socket and support gems. And then we're looking for chaos damage over time multiplier tier 1. In this case, we now have 3. Sorry, I fucked up. Go back. First, we have to do this. My bad. First, we have to do the original step of cannot roll attack modifiers and slam it. With this process, we have 3 suffixes filled. We slam it. We now have the level of socket of gems. So that's at 1 exalted investment. Now we do the process. There we go. I missed an important step. So we will remove the benchcraft and we'll put in the multi-craft. And now we do the support gems as well as the chaos damage over time multiplier like this. And now the bow is finished. Very straightforward process. Which kind of base you're going for doesn't matter. Like In some cases, people want to prioritize going for the small bow, what is called the thicket bow, because thicket bow has a better attack speed, which will make it a better choice for some builds. I prefer Maraketh for the sake of my Death's Oath guide, because it's all about clear speed, and having that increased movement speed is very preferable. But like I mentioned, there are plenty of different versions of doing this. If you're looking for attack speed, then thicket bow will be the best choice to go for. So which base doesn't really matter. If you're looking for just a bow with it, then you obviously want to go for the cheapest variant if you're going for the cheap version of crafting this. But this is the crafting process on any type of bow. So again, thicket bow for attack speed, Maraketh for movement speed, or you can use synthesized bases if you're looking for specific modifiers, such as increased spell damage, or in this kind of case, we could look in for increased chaos damage bases as well. But yeah, it's a very straightforward process, and it's a deterministic way to craft, which has never required harvest. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Until next time, stay safe and keep rocking.